Welcome to an Eyes on EB exclusive, Stirring the Pot with Rob W. Hello, everybody. I'm Rob W. from Eyes on EB, Stirring the Pot. We got Mark Sher here once again, and I have to say I'm very jealous of your cool pants there.
Oh, well...
what's the story behind them? Every great pair of pants has a story behind it.
It's one of my hobbies. I was in the vintage clothing business for about 17 years prior to the business that I'm in currently, and that kind of evolved into my making some of my own reworked vintage clothing. So I would take an old pair of pants and I would take some other scrap fabrics and whatnot. I cut them, pin it together, take some pictures, get it over to my tailor. She would, do all kinds of work, and it's
nice.
Something I enjoy, and
that's your vibe.
It pays dividends. Yeah, absolutely.
You got like the vegan cyclist vibe or something,
Well, I love vegan foods. I'm definitely not a vegetarian. I love animal foods, clean, like grass-fed animal foods, but I'm into like the gluten-free, organic, non-GMO thing.
Yeah, I was a vegan cyclist for about 2 years. I plant-based. I didn't do it for political or environmental reasons. I did it for health reasons. That was about 35 pounds ago.
Yeah, I was able to lose some weight with plant-based foods.
Yeah.
And I took all kinds of classes on macrobiotics from some really well-known macrobiotic counselors. I have one that I stay with about once a year in Nashville, Virginia Harper.
Oh, nice.
I stay at her house for like a week. And she
cool.
makes all these like vegan dishes. It's kind of like my little resort. Not that there's anything luxurious about it, but other than having someone cook for me.
Yeah, in that world, there's just two things. There's the plant-based, which is more for athletes, and the vegan's more for the hippies. So I was more on the plant-based side. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
It's great to learn about.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. But that's not, we're not talking about diet or lifestyle here. We're going to dive into what's going on in East Brunswick from the BOE, from some of the meetings. So what's on your mind? That's what we're here for, to see what's on your mind.
Well, I want my kids to have a good future in East Brunswick. We made the choice to move here in 2020.
And I met your kids. They're wonderful, by the way. They're a lot of fun. They are.
They're so happy, and they've got some great friends. They're doing well in school.
Good.
And but there's not everything about the school I think is on the up and up. I think we can make it better. I don't think there should.
And you're being kind right now.
Very, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we've got some real issues. I've had some personal issues that that kind of relate to some of what we're gonna talk about, but I don't want to drag my personal issues into this.
I'll steer you.
All right. Although some of the issues that arose from a personal issue that we discussed on the last podcast, but I want to make sure that my kids are comfortable in the community. And now that I've, become enlightened to a lot of what's going on, and I've gotten to know some people in the community that are also enlightened to what's going on, it's become a priority for me.
Sure.
I mean, once you know that a problem exists, and it affects you, you want to solve it. I mean, I believe that every problem has a solution. Mm-hmm. You need to look for the solution.
And what's interesting about a lot of the problems that are happening now, many people are having the same issues, whether it's busing or
busing is, that was a really big issue to begin with. I mean, there was a reason why I began questioning certain practices that the transportation had or didn't have, and that was, they weren't even asking the kids to put their seatbelts on, and I wrote email after email after email, and finally we're at a point where it seems like the bus drivers are almost always asking the kids to put their seatbelts on. Mm-hmm. They're not enforcing it. That's another issue. But the fact that that I did voice my concern again and again and again and again, and now the drivers are asking, that's progress.
Right.
I don't want to say that our voices aren't being heard. They are being heard.
They are. Yeah. On some levels. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're doing is, I think with East Brunswick Action is, which was formerly Take Back Our EB Schools, has been successful, as demonstrated at the last board meeting, on the March 3rd board meeting.
Right. Absolutely. Because we're nothing alone but powerful in numbers, and you have to kind of
There's a lot of people there. We need to have more people, and we need to have more people within the group voicing their concerns and voicing their opinions. But we're off for a group that's about a year old. I've started it a year ago. I think we've made a tremendous difference.
Yeah,
I was thrilled with I wasn't thrilled with what was discussed and what needed to be discussed at the last board meeting, but I was thrilled with the way that Lou and Anna spoke out. And
they were phenomenal. I finally got to watch it last night. Yeah, they were phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean,
Lou wouldn't stop at some points. He was asking. It's great. Yeah,
this is why I was really pushing for Lou to be the board president. I think even Lou didn't want to be board president.
Right.
Lou wanted Tim to be president, and Lou wanted to be vice president. I thought Lou was a natural leader as soon as...
Well, Lou has what you call intellectual humility, right? So he understands that he's a new board member, even though he was in the thing, and he wants to... He knows what he doesn't know. He understands that it might not be to know some things, and that's what a leader does, though.
All you have to do is watch the video and watch Lou, and you're going to learn a lot about it.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. He's a lot of fun, smart guy, and he cares. He's there for the right reason. Not a stepping stone for him. Yeah,
I think he is, and Anna's there. I'd like to think that they're all there for the right reason.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And
You'd like to think that
this budget that they're working on is very important this year. You know, the issues that are that we're facing and the programs that we may lose.
It's heart-wrenching.
Well, it's heart-wrenching for the kids.
Yeah.
But
and the homeowners.
That's what most people don't want to talk about. They don't want to think about how it can affect the value of their homes and what that means for their futures. If we have a dip in value because of the school district and we don't recover, I mean, let's say it's a 20% dip. So someone who has a house that's valued at $800,000 now is, suddenly valued at, I guess it would be $640,000 with a 20% dip. That's significant, especially if they have $400,000 in debt on the house. It's really 40% of the money that they're losing, not 20% of the money, right? So we need to pay attention to everything about the school district because the school district is what it is that attracts families.
Yeah, and when they're talking about getting rid of ninth grade sports and some of the art programs, why would you're no longer moving here?
If we don't have middle school sports and we don't have ninth grade sports and we don't have fourth grade orchestra, it's going to be a non-starter for many, many families. Many families would never consider moving here just for those reasons. And with orchestra, the consideration shouldn't be starting, how can we get it out of fourth grade and start it in the fifth grade? The consideration needs to be, how can we start it in the third grade and get more value out of our investment now? We want to expand the program. We don't want to, we don't want the program to contract.
Sure.
I think they said at the last meeting, 75% of the fourth graders are participating in orchestra.
Yeah, I think I had coffee with somebody and they were saying that I think 500 students in Churchill and 500 students in Hughes are in either music or orchestra. Yeah, orchestra.
All right, right. But the number of fourth graders.
Yeah.
So let's say there's 600 kids in the fourth grade. If there's 75%, that would be 450 kids.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I don't know what percentage of them will go on at Hughes to participate in the fifth grade and sixth grade. But if they're not starting, the earlier they start, the better it is. And
of course.
This is one of the things that has been, I guess a cornerstone of East Brunswick, our arts program. Right?
Says it right on our logo.
On the right word? I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it's on our logo, the arts.
Absolutely, and athletics.
Yeah.
And academics.
Right.
So, and these are three issues where right now we've got the literacy curriculum issue, which I honestly haven't really commented on because I have a hard time relating to it. My kids do great in school. They have a rock star mom who's a teacher who taught them how to read before they got into kindergarten, and they're a little ahead for their grade level. So, but I understand that the literacy program is not everything that it could be, and I appreciate everything that Allegra has done.
Oh, she's awesome.
And then other people have jumped on. Yeah,
Yeah.
Allegra's been amazing.
Yeah, she's been
What a community hero. And so we've got the academics issue, we've got the arts, we've got the athletics. It all seems like they're being threatened. It's not like they're taking away, no one's taking away a language arts curriculum, but it sounds like we may not have chosen the right curriculum, or if we did choose the right curriculum, we're not implementing it the best way we can.
No, I mean, my family was affected like that. One of my sons, I think it was around fourth grade, they said, he might have dyslexia, but they told us there's no reason to get him tested because we're going to treat him like he has it anyway. And when I told Allegra that, she goes, yeah, that's a common thing. Well, we did get him tested, but what I'm saying is they told us no reason to. And we're taught to trust the professionals, right? You're taught within the school, but you
always trust the professionals.
But you can't.
I surround myself with professionals all day long. I always want to be around people that know more than me about whatever it is we're talking about, because that's how we can make progress. Right? That's how I can make progress in my life. But this, the curriculum issue, I hope they get that banged out. But we need to figure out a way to save our athletics and our arts programs, or we're going to have ourselves in big trouble here.
Yeah.
It's not just the fact that we're not going to have them. It's what it says about our district, the district's leadership, the people that we elect to oversee the leadership. Everything kind of ties into each other, and it all will lead to a decrease in desirability for East Brunswick, and a decrease in home.
And plus, the higher property taxes aren't going to help the whole.
It would if we're raising the property taxes, and it's would they suggest a 3% bump?
Yeah, but wasn't it just raised 10%?
I'm not sure. I know I appealed my taxes when I bought my house, and we had them reduced by about 10%. But now we're approaching that level where we were at before we appealed them. But if the property taxes are going up and the property values are going down, that's not
perfect bad storm.
It's not working there. It's not working the way it should be. So I know it can get better. I don't have all of the answers, but I know a lot of questions should be raised, and not enough questions are being raised. And that's why I wanted to come here. One of the main reasons I wanted to come here and talk to you.
Yeah. And what are these questions? You want to go over that, or do you want to go in a different direction?
One of the questions I have, and I think this is something that everyone should really be asking, is who's running the show, right? It's my understanding that we elect the board members to oversee the administration.
Right.
And the one employee that the board actually has is the superintendent, right? That's Victor Valesky. And Victor Valesky is in charge of everyone else. So it's basically, he's at the top of the pyramid. You've got the board overseeing Victor, and Victor's overseeing everyone else. So Victor's got his main crew, and the number one man under Victor is Bernardo Giuliana. Bernardo Giuliana is the board secretary. He's the business administrator, and he seems to wear a lot of other hats in the district. Right. So
yeah, it seems like he's overwhelmed for sure.
I don't know if he's overwhelmed. I'm not sure what his story is, but I know that the decisions that he makes are very impactful, and that a lot of the line items in the budget are there because of the decisions that he makes, the research that he does or doesn't do. I'm not sure what's going on, but we have a $200 million budget, and it's basically in his hands to make sure that that everything's lined up. He needs to be able to predict how much income we're going to have and how much we're going to have in expenses, and all the decisions that we make about the contracts that we sign, about the raises that we give the teachers, that everything needs to be taken into account to make sure that we don't have more money going out than we have coming in. And now we've had 2 consecutive years with very significant budget shortfalls, where the state reduction is just a small piece of the pie, a very small piece of the pie.
And they're playing the victim, it seems like, right?
Tremendously. They're blaming, again, at the last meeting, they were blaming the reduction in state aid and the charter school for the fact that we're not going to have the stuff that's on line 69, right? That includes the orchestra, right? Well, I know a lot of people have complaints about the the charter school.
Right. Yeah. Why don't you go over that? We talked about that a little bit, and you brought up a point that nobody else brought up before.
It's very understandable that people are frustrated that we're paying money to the charter school. So obviously, if these kids that were that in East Brunswick that are at the charter school are going to the East Brunswick schools, we'd have to pay for them there. Reality is that it's costing us more per student at the charter school.
Right.
No question, it's costing us more. And I believe the towns that are sending kids that don't live in East Brunswick to the charter school, I think there's some contribution that's made. I'm not exactly sure how that's done. But what a lot of people are forgetting is Hatikva is a major draw.
Okay.
We didn't move here for Hatikva. A lot of people do. A lot of people.
I actually know somebody who did.
There's a wait list to get into Hatikva. It's
right.
like a big deal. So Hatikva is part of what drives people to East Brunswick. It's part of the reason why the real estate values in East Brunswick have gone up as much as they have. Hatikva has a tremendous reputation. The kids, it's a much different culture over there. They don't tolerate a lot of the behaviors that we'll tolerate in the public school are not tolerated at Hatikva. They're going to kick you right out.
Right. Yeah.
But the Hatikva's presence in East Brunswick is adding value to the homes in East Brunswick. I know it's frustrating that we have to give them some money.
You're going to hear it on this one.
Okay, but maybe I am. But if let's say Hatikva is driving up the real estate values by, let's say 1%, okay, that's significant. It's a lot more significant than the money. And it could be driving the real estate values up by more than 1%. Because if you have two people that have to have the same house and one of them is bidding because they want to send their kid to Hatikva or they want to be closer to Hatikva, that house could go, 10, 15% above the asking price. It really drives the market. So don't be so quick to criticize Hatikva before you factor in how much Hatikva may be adding to the value of your home.
But there's really no way to get that hard.
There's no way to figure out the exact number. It is a factor, and I'm quite certain that the value that Hatikva adds to our real estate values washes away the amount of money that we have to pay. Albeit it is frustrating because we're coming out of pocket for that money. Yeah. But when people go to sell their homes, you have people that are moving here because of Hatikva. It just keeps driving the prices up. And
for those who don't know, Mark's in the real estate world, so he kind of is an expert. He's an expert on this subject.
Right. Well, I've been in. My specialty is commercial real estate. I don't really deal in residential real estate, but I've been in this real estate world for quite some time. I've been licensed in New Jersey since 2000, and I can tell you that when you have more buyers than sellers, and I don't even think you need to be in the real estate business to know this. When there's more buyers than sellers, the values go up. Hatikva attracts buyers.
Gotcha.
So let's not assign too much blame over there. But there's other issues to look at, and there's accountability issues, right? For example, I've brought this up on social media a lot of times, but maybe not enough times because questions really haven't been asked. Bernardo Giuliana, the guy who is in charge of putting this budget together and assigning these contracts, some of them no-bid contracts, and we'll get back to that. He lied in an open board meeting.
Right.
He told a lie. He was confronted with something that happened at the meeting. I don't want to get into what he was confronted about because that's not relevant to the fact that he lied. Right. He did tell a lie impulsively. And he could have very easily walked that lie back.
Right.
Or he could have the next day said, you know what, I gave some misinformation. But he didn't handle it that way. What he did was he, rather than having the video of the meeting broadcast exactly as it's supposed to be, the beginning of every meeting, part of what they say, is it the president's statement or the superintendent? One of the things that is said is that the meeting is broadcast unedited as is, and that's the law. It's called the Sunshine Law. Okay. So rather than owning up to his lie, he had the video modified in an effort to cover up the lie.
And I think that was because a lot of us made a big stink about it prior to it airing, right?
Well,
so they were on to it.
It aired the next day.
Right.
It was suspicious. Generally, they have the video up pretty early on in the day.
Yeah.
Hours and hours went by, and the video wasn't posted, I think, until 4 or 5 o'clock. And when the video was posted, it was posted with a disclaimer at the beginning of the video that said part of the part of the video wasn't taped.
It was such a bad loss. It's like a George Costanza lie.
It was so
bad.
So bad.
It was cringy.
So I did a little investigation into this. I called EBTV, and I'm not sure if we brushed upon this on the last podcast.
Yeah,
but
that's all right. We got a lot of new people.
So I just want to get to the credibility of Bernardo Giuliani here. I spoke with Anthony at EBTV. I seemed a little uncomfortable that I was calling, and he seemed a little hesitant to answer my questions. But I alluded to the fact that I already knew something happened. So he just divulges the fact that the video that he got, that I referred to as the edited video, came from the multimedia manager. His name is Jim McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Jim personally. I've only heard good things about Jim. He seems very happy. I think he's been in the district for a while. He works at Bernardo Giuliani's direction, or maybe at the direction of someone that answers to Bernardo Giuliani. He edited the video. He sent the video to Anthony at EBTV. It was posted on YouTube with a disclaimer, but it was not the real video. All right. So we have a business administrator and board secretary that told a lie at an open board meeting, that wouldn't own up to the lie, that went to...
And the lie was easy trackable. Like,
you can't argue the fact that he lied. He definitely lied.
Yeah.
There's no, we can't, I wouldn't get up here and say that he lied if he didn't lie. All right. I'm going to speculate about things where we should be asking questions where he may have lied, but we know he lied.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So the one guy that we need to trust more than anybody else in the entire district when it comes to the district's finances, we now know that he's told a lie and made an effort to cover it up. Not only did he make an effort to cover it up, he engaged the services of another district employee to compromise his integrity. Right. And then they post a video that contained another lie. Right. So when you tell, it's very difficult when you lie because you keep having to tell more and more lies. It gets...
And when you lie and you're asking other people to help you cover up, that's even a bigger problem. There's a lot of integrity issues here besides the lie.
There's tremendous integrity issues. Right. And unfortunately, he's involved people that of great integrity.
Right.
That I believe have great integrity, including, Joe Crotchfeld wrote a letter regarding this, which also had a bunch of lies in it. I don't think Joe Crotchfeld wanted to lie on his own.
Right.
I don't know what kind of conversation went on behind closed doors, but the truth is we have a business administrator that lied. He went to great lengths to cover up that lie. And that's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're reliant upon this same man that told a lie and covered it up to assemble a budget. And now for the second year in a row, we're many millions of dollars short.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for the second year in a row, we have numerous no-bid contracts.
About the no-bid contracts, tell me a little bit about is this a typical thing, do you think places do? Or
it's my understanding that, I'm on a small board of directors for a condominium builder.
Okay.
And I don't own the whole building. I just own the condo.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to have anything done, we need to the bylaws require us to get 3 bids.
Okay, 3 bids.
If it's a small project, let's say, it's a $500 issue, we're not going to spend, $2,000 worth of time getting bids on something that's a few $100s.
What do you think would be a small issue for the school so people understand?
I think anything under $50,000,
okay,
we don't necessarily need to go out and get multiple bids for.
Okay, that's not small. For a lot of people.
Well, for a $200 million budget and a district with 11 schools, a $50,000 job, if the person making the decision needs to make sure that the work that's being done is and the price that we're paying is market, and they need to make sure that the work is done, that the vendor keeps their promise, and if there's any warranties available, that the records of the warranties are kept. We need to be responsible about it. But if we're bidding out every single job that's under $50,000, we're going to be spending more time on administrative expenses than we really need to.
I got you.
It's the big contracts that we really need to focus on. Right? Landscaping, snow removal, roofing stuff, anything that's over $50,000. Especially when you're getting into 6-figure contracts or even 7-figure contracts, you gotta get bids. And I've been advised that the excuse for not getting multiple bids was that we were using pricing based on data from neighboring districts.
Right.
Right. And I have to assume that we're just not saying, okay, they're doing our landscaping for $500,000 a year, so $500,000 a year is good for us. There's probably some formula that's used that's similar. So let's say it's done by the number of acres that we have, or the number of acres of grass. So the snow removal is done by the number of acres of asphalt. It's certainly reasonable to use that as a comparison.
Right.
But
yeah.
there's a lot of variables that can be involved.
There's always a lot of variables.
Tremendous variables.
Yes.
And when we have a budget shortfall and we have six-figure contracts or higher being awarded without bids, it could be a big problem. I mean, what if we, are we going to rely on, let's just say it's South Brunswick that we're using. I'm not saying that it is. To just say, for example, South Brunswick is paying X amount per acre for their landscaping.
Right.
So is it reasonable for us to just pay the same amount? Who's to say? Who's looking at all of the data in South Brunswick? How many bids did they get? Where did they get their price?
Exactly. If everybody's doing that at some point.
And maybe they have more shrubbery than we have. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have less shrubbery. There's a lot of things we should be looking at. Using a comparison when we're looking at the bids. Well, and asking, if we're friends with South Brunswick, asking them questions about the vendors they're using and how, are they living up to their end of the bargain? Are they happy? Should we be using them? That's all reasonable. But to be reliant upon their price points when we have a budget shortfall that's going to threaten the arts programs, athletic programs, transportation, teacher jobs, the amount of money that we're paying for our kids' activities, we're not getting bids from and the guy who's in charge of all this was caught lying and covering it up. This is what we're depending on. We're not going out and getting bids because neighboring districts are using similar pricing. We're in serious trouble if that's the way we're doing business. And you people need to wake up and start asking questions. The board needs to start doing their job. They need to hold Victor Valesky accountable for his supervision of Bernardo Giuliana. We need to look at Bernardo Giuliana very carefully. Okay, I'm not making any accusations about what he may or may not be doing, but we need to be asking questions.
Do we, from your experience with the board that you're on and what you do for a living, do you find that there is a lot more no bid contracts than should be, or are you saying because we're in a budget deficit we should be more careful?
It's especially we'd have to ask a school board expert as exactly what we should and shouldn't be doing as far as getting bids. Mm-hmm. According to what Jeff has shared with me, we should be getting bidding out a lot of these contracts. Right. Jeff was on the board for 5 years. Jeff is to me seems like a pretty credible guy. I like him and respect him. And if he tells me that we should be getting multiple bids, I got to take what he says at face value. I haven't read all the bylaws. I intend to read some of them eventually, probably not all of them. But the reality is we have a business administrator that was caught lying. He's tried to cover up the lie. I don't know how many lies he's told in the past. It may be none. It could be that the September 26th board meeting was the first time he ever told a lie. I don't want to rule that out. And that could be the first time he's ever covered up a lie and gotten other people involved in covering up the lie. That's certainly possible.
Sure.
Right. I mean, the Citizens Oversight Committee can look into that very carefully.
Get your shirts at eyesoneb.com.
Yeah, you got right there. The COC, we're on it. But we need to be asking questions about Bernardo Giuliana. And I'm also wondering what it is that Bernardo Giuliana is still doing here and why he wants to work in the district.
Yeah, how old is he?
I think he's in his early 60s, maybe 62 or 63. Okay. I don't know exactly. But he's been in the district since 94. Mm-hmm. So he's got 31 years in. He's entitled to a tremendous pension. All right. If on the low end, I think his pension would be in the neighborhood of $130,000. On the high end, I used some calculator on the NJ.gov thing, and I entered some information about his age, his time there, the estimated salary. It came out to something like $160,000. I don't know what it is.
That's high.
It's a six-figure pension. He's entitled to get health benefits. When he's collecting the pension, he's no longer going to be making a pension contribution. And I believe the pension contributions that we make to state pensions are something like 10% of our salary.
Oh, wow.
They're a lot. So the net difference for Juliana from working or taking the pension is really, it's not that big. To some people, it may be a big deal. Let's say the net difference is $60,000. All right. So that would be roughly $1,200 a week. Relatively speaking, that's not a whole lot of money. To some it is, but this is what is suspect to me. Bernie, as the business administrator, being in charge of a $200 million budget and overseeing 11 schools and all of these departments, has all of this experience. He even has his own consulting firm, Bemigral Consultants, and he advertises that.
And what does he do there?
I don't know what he does. He advertises as once he knew I knew he had this Bemigral thing, he blocked me on LinkedIn. I can't really see.
Yeah. It's like Victor when he has a 4-year gap of his career on LinkedIn. Like people don't think
there was a small gap. He worked there.
It's like a 4-year gap.
Yeah, he was in I forgot the name, Swedesboro.
Yeah.
All right. I actually spoke to some people in Swedesboro.
I have a good friend. He's a JAG lawyer too.
The people that I spoke to had nothing but the nicest thing to say.
Yeah, he was a ladies' man, I hear too.
Slick Vic. That's what we call him, right? All right. So Bernie is the benefit that he's getting from working in East Brunswick, the financial benefit on his salary versus the pension is minimal. And his value as a consultant, I can tell you for my business, I mean, as you know, I'm in the commercial real estate industry. I'm always looking to hire consultants that can help me add value to my business.
Absolutely.
And someone that's got a lot of experience is worth a lot of money. I mean, some consultants command, $250 an hour, sometimes $350 an hour. Some consultants are worth $2,000 an hour. Yeah. But I can tell you, the market for Bernie's consulting work is probably in the neighborhood of, let's say, $250 to $350 an hour. Let's call it $300 an hour, right? And let's say the net difference in his salary versus taking the pension is $60,000 bucks. All right. So we're talking about 4 hours a week of consulting that we need to do to make that.
And that's easy to get.
For Bernie? Yeah. For a guy with all of this experience? Are you kidding? Yeah. Of course it's easy to get. Yeah. I mean, clearly he's not shy about marketing himself.
Right.
So what's he doing here?
Yeah. What do you think it is?
I don't know. But I think we need to start asking questions. I think we need to interview every one of these vendors that was awarded a no-bid contract that's getting 6-figure money. We need to talk to these vendors. How long have they been doing business in East Brunswick? Who's awarding them the business? How much are they paying? Who's supervising the work? Where else are they doing business? How long have they known Bernardo Giuliana? I want answers. We're $8 million short on the budget. Only $1 million and change is from the state. All right. This is not, Bernie is not exactly ingrained into the community. It's not like he's, Lou, when Lou was let go. Remember how many people stepped up and to speak for Lou? I can't even count.
He can run for mayor right now. This guy can't go anywhere.
He was amazing. He's and also had that assistant superintendent.
Yeah, good thing he's not an introvert.
Bernie hasn't been let go yet. But when he's let go, you think people are going to stand up for Bernie?
No, absolutely not. No, stand up for Bernie?
Well, the way they did for Lou?
No, absolutely not.
Maybe half the people.
There's going to be a party at the Grove.
You don't even think half the people would stand up for Bernie?
I don't think anybody will. I never heard, and I don't know the guy, and I'm sure he's a fine human being, but I never heard one good thing.
Based on my experience, I don't want to comment on his character. I generally don't criticize people's character, so I'm not gonna go there. I think we need to start asking questions, and I think we need to start asking them now. I don't think there should be a vote on this budget until we do a thorough investigation. We need to put the brakes on it. The board members got to figure out a way.
And it seems like sometimes some board members are hanging on for I don't understand why.
Well, let's look at the board members.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, let's go through them. Who do you want to start with? President, or you want to
let's start
with the new ones?
Gloss.
Okay.
All right. As you know, against some people's wishes, when President Guas became the board president, which I was against, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you have to.
Of course. I thought she was, the previous board president. You just look at the October 10th board meeting and how she misrepresented why Victor Valesky's contract wasn't being voted on. That tells you everything you need to know about the former board president.
She said everybody was for the contract, and it looks like that wasn't true.
It was it was disgraceful, to put it mildly.
Okay.
All right. So to me, Heather was a breath of fresh air. She's a Facebook friend. I friended her. I'm not sure when or why, but I follow her page. And as a human being, I think she's awesome. She's into the, saving animals.
Yeah, into the sports. She's a sports mom.
She's a hero mom. She's got beautiful kids. She speaks beautifully at the meetings. She's intelligent. She's a teacher in Edison. I have a lot of respect for her. She volunteers for the community, and although Lou or Tim weren't selected for board president, I really wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. And I was kind of hoping in the back of my mind that she'd come around and say, listen, I really want to help move this district in the right direction, and I'd like to align with this movement. Maybe not with some of the, we've been a little controversial with the way that we approach things, and it would be understandable if some people aren't comfortable with that. But I was hoping that we could find common ground with Heather. After this last meeting, I'm no longer giving her the benefit of the doubt as the board president. She may be a good board member. She's definitely not. She doesn't have the skill set to be an effective board president. Yeah. It looked to me,
and most people don't.
No, of course they don't. There's no real training for this. Right. I mean, but some people have natural ability, and some people are more confrontational and inquisitive, and some people just have the experience to know what kind of questions to ask and why to ask them. Right? She doesn't seem to have that. It seemed to me at that meeting like she was trying to push this along so we could just vote on a budget because that's what Bernardo Giuliana wanted done. It seemed to me like Bernardo Giuliana is in charge.
He's running the show.
He's absolutely.
A lot of people feel that way.
That's how it seems.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And we've got all these people. I just showed you this complaint from, I don't want to say her name, but she was talking about how he treats employees in the finance department and how people complain about him. And,
and that's a common.
They never stop. I've never heard anyone say anything nice about Bernie. Right. Never. Yeah. I mean, they're afraid of him. We hear stories about retaliation. We hear stories about coffee makers being removed. I've spoken to teachers that, they don't even, they're afraid to go into detail. I've spoken to some principals on the phone. They're all very nervous. Even Jack Levitt, who we were on cordial terms for a while until the election. Now he treats me like I killed his puppy. And Jack, he did. Did you saw that last time I said along?
Oh, I was with him.
Right. I think Jack's a really nice guy, and I hope that we can be on cordial terms. Maybe I'm misinterpreting. Even Jack was talking about the kind of retaliation that some of the staff members face, and right. He was alluding to Bernardo Giuliana. We need to take a really good look at this. All right, we've got a guy who was caught lying. Who tried to cover up the lie. We've got no bid contracts. The financial benefit for him being here is not all that great. I really think it's costing him money due to his value as a consultant. Why would he, if the difference is about $60,000 a year, why in the world would he be working full time in East Brunswick when he could,
he could easily make $100,000 a year on the side with his consulting.
Part time.
Yeah.
Part-time. If the value of his consulting fees
at the beach
are $300 an hour, 10 hours a week is $150,000 a year. So it's not adding up.
Right.
I think we need to take massive action. Not the kind of action that we usually take. If we keep doing the same old thing, the same old way with the same people, and we're just going to end up in the same situation. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
So we need to do it differently.
Yeah. Let's get back on track. We're going through the board member.
You're right.
All right. So let's get back on.
We were on the board president, but I was just saying that.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Based on their communication, the person in charge is not President Guas. Absolutely. The person in charge is Bernardo Giuliana.
Gotcha.
All right. So let's look.
A lot of people feel that way.
Okay. Yeah. So that's unfortunate. Who else we got?
You want to go to the left or right of the dais?
Well, let's go to the left first.
Left. So who's next? Is that Jamie?
Sure, Jamie.
Okay.
Jamie was part of our slate. I thought Jamie was brilliant, courageous.
You were a big fan.
Sure, I was a big fan. I think, and I'm still on a personal level. I'm still a big fan. Jamie made these glasses.
Yeah, they're nice.
Great.
They look good.
She actually also made the sunglasses that I mistakenly wore in here and had to go back into my car to change.
Now she's very good at what she does.
She's amazing. When it came to running on the board, we had some turmoil during the campaign. We had some turmoil after the campaign, and all I can say is I wish her well, and I hope she can. It hurts me to hear how some people talk about Jamie based on what they saw following the election, and I wish Jamie the best, and I hope she can. I hope she's being a good friend to herself. That's other than that, I really have no comment on Jamie Falco.
Okay.
Who else? We have Lee Wu on that side.
We have Wilbur, right?
Wilbur.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Lee Wu, he wasn't there at the last meeting, was he? I don't know.
So Wilbur, I think is a little scared of me. I'm not sure why. I asked him a few questions during the campaign. He over-answered them, and I think he was answering it.
Probably just because your alignment with Jeff, I think, is why he's probably
right. But I think he heard that I was questioning how he could be on the board and be a pediatric oncologist who could be on call. And rather than just answering my question, he was responding to what he heard that I said behind his back. And I was questioning that, and the response that he gave was satisfactory, although I didn't ask that question on the post, but I tried to friend him. He not only didn't take my friend request, he blocked me from friending him.
Oh, really? Oh, he blocked you.
I sent him a message to congratulate him when he won. He didn't respond to the message. But at the meeting on this past Monday, he was a rock star. He was great. I mean, he really stepped up, and he's intelligent. He's articulate. He wasn't just going to give in to President Guas's and Bernardo Giuliana's preferences. He was asking some tough questions. He made one comment about there being no misspending.
Yeah,
I think that was. I think he should reflect a little bit on that. I don't really think there's any misspending either, but we need to look at how we're doing that spending, how the contracts are being negotiated, and make sure we're being responsible. Just because we're buying the right things for the district doesn't mean we're buying them the right way. But I think Wilbur's a strong board member, and I hope he continues on this trajectory of what seems to be demanding accountability.
At least asking questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we've got who else? We got Lou on that side.
Yeah, Lou's on that side.
All right. We know how I feel about Lou. I covered earlier.
Yeah.
He was a total rock star at the last meeting. He's got a way about him that I think makes people comfortable, and he has an ability to understand the information that's presented to him, and a great ability to articulate himself so that he's understandable. Probably more understandable than me. So,
right.
I was really glad to support Lou. I would support him again.
Absolutely.
I think he's great for the district, and I'm still sad.
He's great for the community. He's great for the whole entire.
It's sad that he's not working in his previous position, but I'm glad that he's back on the board.
Yeah,
I really am.
Absolutely. Who's next? Who's over there?
Lee Wu.
Yeah, we skipped over him, but
yeah, well, he wasn't at the meeting.
No, he's been having some injuries.
He was. I spoke with him briefly when I was at the closed session meeting. When I want to discuss the closed session meeting on January 30th after this, but when I met him prior to the closed session meeting on January 30th beginning, I got a very nice hello. How are you, Mark?
Another brilliant guy.
He's definitely a brilliant guy. He's not afraid to ask a question when it needs to get asked. I think he could. I'd like to see him and many other board members speak out when something isn't going the way it should go. He
said something at a board meeting. I just loved it. He said he was complaining about math or something, and he was like, not being good at math as a district is a national security issue, or as a country. It was great. But I don't know. I loved it. I loved it.
We need a variety of different personalities on the board. If we have all the same type of people doing all the same types of things, we're not going to get anything done. So we've got a good, we've got a good mix.
Right.
So we've got we have
Lori Locks left. We have Anna, and then
so former President Locks. Like I said, the October 10th meeting should tell you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Lori Locks is a little bit of a victim of this administration. I really do. I think that she went in well. I haven't been here the whole time that she's been on the board. I spoke to her on the phone a few years ago, and she was lovely. She did break some promises to me. I think she's been influenced by the administration. I feel like this administration, and I'm not the only one that's, maybe you feel the same way. I think the administration is providing misinformation to the board members about what their role is.
Mm.
And the board members need to decide what their role is on their own. They're the elected.
Yeah. That seems to be the truth. Yeah.
Because with Lori Locks as president, it didn't seem like she was the president of anything.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like she was answering to Victor and Bernie. But
it was always weird with a lot of the incumbency event that it seems like they don't have a pulse of the community, like as if there's only like 3 or 4 people that are unhappy. Like they seem like they're just clueless with the pulse of the community. And
I'm not sure. I think that they're very influenced by what the board attorney tells them.
Mm-hmm.
Attorneys can be very scary. If you're not in the world of I deal with attorneys every day in my business. I mean, it's not like a big deal to me. But when people get advice from a lawyer, they're terrified.
No, I understand that, but you don't have to call somebody a visionary when it seems to be like 90% of the people in the community, literally, and that's not hyperbole, like that they're unhappy with the way the administration is running. I mean, like if you just,
a visionary superintendent would be understandable to be a visionary in your 40s and then use that as work a district, create some real success and some value in a school district, and then you can move on to the private sector,
right?
Substantially more money if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, because that's where a lot of the bitterness comes from people in those positions, right? They feel like they're underpaid for their responsibility because in the private sector they could be making $500,000 or more.
Oh, they can make $500,000 a month,
yeah,
or more. I mean, there's no limit in the private sector. But with Victor, the board's not holding him accountable.
Mm-hmm. No measurable goals. That's what we talk about a lot.
There doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
But also I think Victor answers to Bernie. Mm-hmm. I really do.
Oh, really?
That's how it seems.
Yeah,
Bernie's got the information.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Sure.
Knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you're in touch with all the vendors and you're in touch with all the department heads and you've got your finger on the pulse everywhere, you become a very important guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
I think that Bernie is really the one that's controlling those closed session board meetings.
Yeah.
All right. The conversations. He's controlling those conversations. Mm-hmm. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But who else we got here? We got.
I'm drawing a blank.
Lori Herrick.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think she's been influenced by the board leadership, and that's unfortunate. She does speak out sometimes. I don't expect her to ever be a voice of accountability. Mm-hmm. I think she's got some good skills. She's got, I think, a background in special education, or something like that.
Nutrition or something too. Yeah.
Right. She's got she has a daughter that's the same age as my daughter, and I don't see Lori Herrick in a leadership position. I don't really have much to comment on her.
And East Brunswick is a very it's an interesting town because there's a lot of social pressures for people, right? So even people who there's part of it that's super progressive and unfortunately now in the progressive community, if you don't agree all the time 100%, you're not welcome in. Like it's a very tough very tough town to agree with somebody. Yeah, I agree with your view 70% of the time.
sometimes you're not always welcome in, but you also need to know how to insert yourself.
Oh, no, absolutely. If you want it that bad. But what I'm saying is I think on the board, there's a lot of social pressures of aligning a certain way.
And my perception of what's going on is that some of the board leadership, including the former board president, uses some of that pressure on some of the more vulnerable board members.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've been influenced by that.
Right. Yeah.
And that's really not ideal, especially when we have a district with this kind of turmoil right now.
I think it's turning a little bit because I think it's obvious. It's more obvious now to a lot of people, especially after the last meeting with all the stuff that we're cutting. I mean, and I give you credit. I think you were being a little. I mean, this is a train wreck.
It's a
train wreck.
I mean, we have Anna was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Anna was.
Well, she was always my favorite.
You always said that?
Yeah,
and let me tell you, she came through tremendously as a candidate. She came through tremendously at the meeting. She's asking questions. She's speaking clearly. She makes sense. She cares. I love her.
There's very few people I could sit down and have coffee with for 4 hours, and I had coffee with her for 4 hours the other day.
I'm not sure. Sorry, Anna. I'm not going to have coffee with you for 4 hours. I think you're awesome. I remember the first time I heard you speak at, I think it was a budget meeting, and when they were talking about the orchestra, and she was so funny and quirky. I was like, she's just awesome.
And she's tough. She's like that.
Yeah.
Her look doesn't match her toughness all the time. It's like, oof.
And the last board member, Tim Cummings.
Oh, I like Tim.
I think Tim's amazing. Every time he speaks at a board, I don't think he really spoke enough at the I didn't watch the entire meeting. Maybe he said something that I missed, but I don't think he spoke out enough. But Tim he's got great leadership qualities.
Yeah.
He's got a great temperament. I think he makes others feel comfortable. I think he cares. He's the kind of guy.
And he's smart. He cares. He has empathy, and he's smart. He's
someone I'd like to get to know better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's going to be.
Tim, you never accepted my friend request. That's all right. I get it.
A lot of people don't request. Some people are afraid of me because I speak out.
Yeah.
If more people spoke out, the people that speak out wouldn't be as scary.
Right.
All right. But what should have happened was the board should have spoke out. We were saying Dana Zimbicki steps up. She's got a big position with the East Brunswick Education Association. And that's the union, right? She stepped up on behalf of the teachers and I guess support staff in protest of the a post that was made and removed, but it was placing blame.
And I just want to say it was from an Eyes on EB blog post. It was a response. And I was doing those, I do some blog posts to bait certain people at certain times. So when all as planned.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm tricky. I'm very manipulative. You shouldn't trust me.
So, all right. So the post was made. Now, first of all, the board, shame on all of you for not denouncing that. You should have you should make it clear what your position is. If your position is that it is not the fault of the teachers, let it be known. I mean, Jeff Winston got up and spoke to
tell her how. So the comment she commented on the post how a past board members, which was all 9 of them, voted the same way. Essentially,
they voted on a 5-year contract.
Contractual. Yeah,
right. So we knew that we knew exactly for all this time, we knew exactly what the raises were going to be.
Yeah,
and this stuff is all this stuff is very predictable. So when a board member criticizes teachers, and just deletes the post without correcting themselves, and then the other board members don't denounce that and say that this is not the position of the board, it leaves us wondering, is this the position of the board? Right. Are you blaming the teachers? We don't know. You got to speak out.
Now, was this the board members? Was this the lawyer maybe telling them not to speak out?
I don't know what it was. I don't care what it is.
No, exactly.
You got to do what's right. The board members need to hold the administrators accountable, and you need to hold each other accountable. Right? Don't just sit there. If one of the board members is out of line, call them out on it. This is what we're electing you for. Okay, these aren't easy times right now.
No.
Maybe if times were good and there was enough money so that we could have, athletics for our kids, and we could have orchestra, and we could have late buses for our kids' activities, and we weren't tripling the prices of activities, then maybe we can overlook these things. But we can't overlook them now.
Now should Jamie, because she's the one who posted it, should be able to vote on teachers' contracts?
With that opinion, no. Definitely not.
Right.
I think she needs to. She needs to make a statement regarding that position.
Yeah.
Listen, no one's perfect. Everyone, we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. The most important.
That was a dumb one, though.
Granted.
I mean, that was. And she's smarter than that.
Well, all of the board members should be smart enough to know that you make a mistake. Own it. Say, hey, I made a mistake. Yeah. Maybe I had a misperception. Maybe I got bad sleep that night. Maybe I allowed some personal views to corrupt the way that I need to conduct myself as a board member. Whatever it is, own your mistake. Say something. Don't stay silent. It makes it worse. Board members need to hold each other accountable, as well as the administrators.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to get back to there's another issue with these board members. There were 5 of them at the January 30th meeting,
right,
where the Bernardo Giuliana lie was discussed and the cover-up. And I attended the meeting with my attorney, and I told them what was going on. So I think they knew that something happened based on my social media posts, but here they were in an official capacity listening to what happened. They listened to the misinformation that was provided, the lie that was given by Bernardo Giuliana that I described as an impulsive lie, and the way that he covered it up. And I saw the look on Heather Guas's face when I explained that I spoke to Anthony at EBTV, and he explained that he got the video from Jim McManaman. I thought she was going to throw up right there on the table.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, the eyes don't lie.
Yeah, of course.
Body language is everything. So when I got this letter, I mean, this is how these lies pile up.
Yeah.
The board attorney probably said, listen, there can never be an admission. If you do something wrong, you just can't admit it. There's going to be liability here. I'm not sure how I feel. In some ways, I agree with that. In some ways, I don't. I mean, sometimes you really have to do what's right, but sometimes you just have to perpetuate the lie. They perpetuated the lie, but they got Joe Crotchfeld involved.
Right.
This ridiculous. You read the letter.
Yeah.
It's lie. I don't want to pull out the letter. Maybe we might need to show.
I'll put it on the screen.
It's lie after lie. It's excuse. They acknowledged that the video was edited. They did that.
Right.
And then they also said that and while they said that the video was edited, someone also forgot to push a button to record it. So something wasn't recorded and it was edited. They never missed recording.
Due to technical difficulties, part of the
it was. I feel so bad for Joe Crotchfeld that he got. I don't know Joe.
Do these things have to be filmed or no? Is that
the closed session meetings?
No. Yeah, like
not the closed session meetings. No.
No.
It's confidential for the board members.
No, the open session. Do they have to be?
Yes, they
have to be recorded.
They have to be recorded, okay. And they have to be posted on an official site.
Oh, I got you.
Unedited.
Right.
There can't be any edits at all.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay, so. They really messed up.
Yeah.
So the questions we need to raise here are: should we be relying on a business administrator that has been caught lying and covering up that lie, going to great lengths to cover it up? Should we be relying on him when to create a $200 million budget, when we have another significant budget shortfall and we have no bid contract? Mm-hmm. Should we be doing that? Or should we be sending him home for a little while and sending the superintendent home and calling the county superintendent and getting the state involved and saying, listen, we don't know what's real. We don't know what's not real. We are millions of dollars short. We have a crisis and we need help.
I'm surprised there isn't more news coverage on this situation.
Maybe there will be.
Yeah.
Maybe someone's going to see this.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will see this and wake up. All right, because the reality.
Maybe the East Brunswick TAP will take care of it.
I don't know who's going to take care of it. But we've got a business administrator in charge of a $200 million budget whose decisions will affect the students, the families, the values of people's real estate, potentially their retirement savings if the values drop and don't recover. It's very serious, and we need to act. We need to act. That's why we have East Brunswick Action. Right? We're acting.
Yep, right? Absolutely.
So we need more members of East Brunswick Action.
Yeah.
We need to find some.
And we're also we're all meeting in person now, once a month. So
we're going to meet in person. We need to find the right candidates that are passionate about these issues, that understand the issues, and that are willing to really put themselves out there.
The good thing about all this is, I don't think people who are elected to the board, I don't think anybody's going to run unless they think they're qualified, which I think before it was more of a popularity contest.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that are qualified. That there's definitely
a lot of people, but
to be on the board, and they may not be aware that they're qualified, and they may not be aware that their community needs them.
Well, I think that's absolutely
true. So that's why we need to get more people to East. We're going to have a link in this video. Will they be able to click on it and go right? All right, that would be great. And when I'm doing posts on the school community page or anywhere else outside of East Brunswick Action, I want to put a link in so people could join East Brunswick Action. Yeah.
The website's almost done. I'm creating the eastbrunswickaction.com. It's actually live, just very basic information, but we're going to get it more.
And we're not doing this to stir the pot and make trouble. We're doing this because we want to make a better school district. I mean, look at the difference between what we had, the board we had before, and the board meeting we had just this past Monday.
Absolutely.
And Anna and Wilbur.
Yeah. It definitely has made a change. And you're starting to see people who weren't, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't even want to mention any names, that are kind of engaging, who are on the other side.
There were people there were some anti-Jeff people.
Yeah.
That didn't make it a secret that they were anti-Jeff. There's still some anti-Jeff.
Right.
But there's some people that are now, they're seeing Jeff in a different light, and they're engaging. I've gotten to know a good amount of people through this process. I mean, I guess when the world we live in now, some of the friendships that you have they're just social media based.
Yeah,
Still getting used to that. 52 years old, I'm used to having interpersonal communication face to face.
Right. Yeah.
I like the world where I could just call someone up without texting them first.
Oh, not me.
Yeah. Well,
you're one of the few people I talk to on the phone. I enjoy your conversation.
Yeah, and I love talking.
Yeah, I love you talking to you too.
We're gonna keep talking, but I want to see this district made better. But we've got to, if we're going to solve our problems, we got to get to the root of the problem first. You can't just fix these if the primary problem isn't addressed, which could be the administration. It could be Bernardo Giuliano. We need to look at that. I don't know.
Got to stop the bleeding first.
You got to.
It's going to take a while to repair.
You got to get to the root of the problem. What happens with disease, and I can tell you from physical disease, I was very sick for years with ulcerative colitis and inflammatory bowel disease. Disease creeps up on you slowly, and you get used to it. It becomes normal to have to be uncomfortable. It becomes normal to be inconvenienced. Things that things get slowly taken away from you. It just chips away.
Yeah, I have that experience. Sure.
And the health of our school district, it's been chipped away at slowly since we haven't had a Blue Ribbon Award since 2013. So maybe it's been since Victor Valesky has been the superintendent. Maybe it's been chipped away out a little bit, and it hasn't been a shock to the system, not enough, but it's just a little bit more and a little bit more. And now we're at a point where we have a serious crisis. We're facing no orchestra for the fourth grade, no sports in middle school, no freshman sports, no late buses, increased fees, less teachers, less security. We got to address the problem from where it stems. And I hope to see it happen. I'm going to help make it happen.
Great. And I'll be your support system.
Bam.
Great. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Appreciate you.
All right.
And just if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, there'll be a bunch of links on the bottom. You can kind of click on them. Join East Brunswick Action if you
or they
if you're
can
looking
join
for
the Citizens Oversight.
Yeah, you could join the Citizens Oversight Committee. I'm the head of COC, Rob Wilson.
It's the COC. The
COC.
Three, like FBI, CIA. Right.
Yeah. The East Brunswick Doge. Yeah.
There you go.
Really
So Doge, it's a 4-letter acronym. You spell it out. The 3-letter ones.
Yeah.
There you go.
So.
But I love the concept. Right.
Well, you came up with it.
Yeah, I got to get one of those. Don't tell them that.
Your shirt's right over there.
Oh, God. All right.
All right. Great. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you.